Hello and welcome to another Scarlet and Violet Underused replay tournament analysis. I'm your host Typhoon Carter. Today we have round 6 or quarterfinals. Now you might be wondering where's round 5. Basically what happened with round 5 was that my opponent basically no-showed me at our scheduled time twice, so they gave me the activity win, which is like whatever, it happens. Anyways, let's just get right into this. So I'm playing against Danny. Danny, very solid player. This was actually not our first encounter. The last time we played, I think it was like for a BDSB tournament where I axed him in like game 3. But anyways, yeah, so he's a very solid player. He's mainly a NU, ZU kind of mainer. He mains lower tiers, more or less. So very solid player. On team preview here, he has a fat kind of, not quite stall. I think it's not quite stall, but basically like this really fat kind of team with Palossand, very uncommon pick. Quillfish, which was a pretty solid choice, all things considered, given I had used a lot of Zoomro going into this. This was also the last round before the January rises and drops were taking effect, more or less. So going into this, I had made some slight changes to that Noivern team. I actually had 8 Terrablast Grass on my Magnezone, trying to tech for Quagsire, which was something he brought a fair bit, but his Palossand here, that was a pretty good call against my Hatterene, given I didn't run Giga Drain on this one, just for a little bit of context. So this was a team, it was technically winnable, but I was gonna really have to play perfect, make like no mistakes, have like everything go right and everything go wrong for him basically. Let's just hop right into this. So here I lead off with Noivern and he goes into Wo-Chan. He protects here. I decide to U-turn, trying to safely scout out. He goes into Talonflame, which is to be expected. I go into Palmot, and he goes into Palossand, so I catch him with the Ice Punch, and then I realize he's a Rocky Helmet. This is kind of a problem for me. I go into Hatterene thinking I could set up and that I could take a hit or two. I try to Calm Mind up. I know that I can at least take one more hit, and here unfortunately I'm put in a really awkward spot where so couple things to note. So Draining Kiss is actually a physical move, or not really a physical move, but it's a contact move despite it being a special move, which makes things really awkward for me. And I think here I should have just not stayed in with Hatterene, so letting it get low. And I also didn't realize Shadow Ball actually did that much to my Hatterene since I didn't put as much Spadef investment into it. But anyways, so I go into Grafii, and unfortunately for some reason I go into that and I get Earthpowered, so yeah, things are already off to a rough start. He goes into Blissey. I try to Draco me here, and here I go into Gastrodon. Here I'm in a pretty awkward spot where I can't really break the team. And I'm just trying to basically go into Hatter and try to get some leftovers recovery, try to recover it back up. And here again I U-turn because I'm expecting a Blissey switch, which is something you should do every time. And here he goes into Tinkaton, and I use Psyshock. He sees this coming, and I go into Magnezone. I'm able to get a trap off. I'm just trying to get rid of this Tinkaton, which is like one of the things that's keeping Hatterene from winning. And he Terra Fairies, and this makes things a little awkward for me, because the problem is that my team doesn't really have anything that can actually break it. Palmot doesn't do enough damage to Palossand. I can't really beat Blissey, or I have a very hard time beating Blissey. Yeah, like at this point, I'm just trying to find a window for a Hatterene to come in safely. I try to close combat here. I get Giga Drain. This doesn't work out because Wo-Chan basically lowers physical attack and stuff, so like everything. So like I'm not really playing this too well at all whatsoever. At this point, I'm just desperately trying to hang on. He gets this off, and at this point, I'm in pretty big trouble because my Hatteran was actually Terra Fire, which doesn't work in my favor because if I do it once, but the problem is that I kind of just get destroyed by Earth Power afterwards. And here, yeah, I'm going to Blissey. Like, I have a very slim chance, but I'd have to play perfect, more or less. And I just can't really do anything against the Wo-Chien, which is rough. I desperately tried to Terra Normal Boom Burst, but yeah, no, this doesn't work out at all. Then I get liquidated, which is like fine. I get toxic, so like that's when I really knew I was screwed. Because the Blissey's Terra Fairy, so like I can't really body press and do like real solid damage on it. And he even tricks, and like yeah, no, it's like really over, and I realized that okay, there's nothing I can do, so he takes game 1 pretty convincingly. Yeah, it was a hard matchup, but I also don't think I played this particularly well, but like, you know, sometimes that happens. Let's just move on to game 2. So game 2 here, Danny's got a Psychic Terrain team. I have a offensive team with Agility Gallade. I brought this again because I liked how the team played last round. Or like the last time I played, and he has a Cloyster, he's got Frostlass, you know. He's got like a bunch of offensive threats. He's also got Oricorio. For Danny, all he really has to do is at least like keep Psychic Terrain up at least twice, and making sure Frostlass doesn't do too much damage to me is also pretty important. Anyways, let's just go right into this. So I lead off Staraptor because I know the Frostlass is 99.9% focus sash. So I know I can at least break the sash. I'm going to Azumarill thinking it's a pretty safe coverage, and then he reveals Destiny Bond, and I lose my Azumarill really, really early, and like that goes down. That's one of the biggest threats to him. And here he dips out of his Cloyster. He goes into Indeedee, which makes sense. In Danny's case here, I think like he had to go into Indeedee to ensure that my Mimikyu could not revenge kill him with Shadow Sneak afterwards. So here I decide to throw out Stealth Rocks, like because I know that hey, it's most likely Sash, and I'm just trying to do whatever I can. And then he brings out Haxorus, which reveals to be Psychic Seed, which boosts his Spadef, which is teched for my Terra Blast Ice, which was something I'd been running a lot throughout this tournament. So I realized that I'm not going to be able to kill him with this special defense boost. Here I make a pretty major blunder here. Yeah, it goes down, which makes sense. I go into Hydreigon for some reason, and I don't know why I did this. What I should have done was go into Staraptor, but in this case here, I go into Hydreigon trying to stall all the turns out. That's like my goal right now, basically, since I made this massive blunder. And I go into Mimikyu, I'm like trying to scout out what he has. So he outrages me, which makes sense. I go back into Hydreigon. He Iron Heads me. And I'm like, okay. And then here I lose my Hydreigon, which to be honest was not going to be able to do a whole lot in this matchup, but Danny letting his Indeedee die was kind of a massive blunder on his part, since his last turn of Psychic Terrain is up, and that means my Mimikyu can actually use priority, do all that jazz. Here I go into Staraptor. My Staraptor is Jolly, so I'm able to actually revenge kill. I go for Double Edge here because I know that Hawlucha is very frail. I don't want to go into Brave Bird because Oricorio resists my Brave Bird and it could kill me. Anyway, so, you know, there's that, and he goes into Cloyster, he rocks her up, he goes into Terra Rock, which is fine, and he Shell Smashes here, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm really screwed, but turns out he's Adamant, which to be honest, I didn't really like Adamant on Cloister typically because of reasons like this. Like, being slower than Jolly Staraptor is kind of annoying, even with like terrain up. So anyways, yeah, so he goes down. And he goes into Hawlucha. I know that his Hawlucha can't really do anything. At this point, I basically sealed the game, and Danny can't really do anything. A Double Edge here, it lives on 1 HP. It roosts up, and then at this point, it's game, set, match. So I'm able to knot it up 1-1. And, you know, at this point I'm thinking, okay, I still have a shot after that rough game 1. Going into game 3, actually let's just move into game 3. So we got game 3 here. The reason I bring this team was because I thought that Danny was actually going to bring his game 1 team again, because I thought that he had done really well against like all my other like previous teams that I had used in other rounds. So, but here he makes a pretty good call. He sticks with Psychic Terrain again, and unfortunately I actually don't have any Scarfers on this team, which makes things rather awkward, and I go on to heavily regret this. Yeah, because matchup wise I need to find a way to get rocks up, but the problem is I don't have anything faster than Frostlass, and Frostlass can kind of just deny entry hazards, all that stuff. So let's just go right into this. So I lead off Sandy Shocks. I'm trying to get rocks up, I can't do that. He gets spikes up, I Earth Power. He gets a Spadef drop. I go into a Azumarill, right? I'm thinking, okay, I know he has Destiny Bond, so I go into Gengar. And I'm hoping that I'm actually slower than him, which... Oh man, yeah, and then I tricked this away, and that was a major blunder on my part. And here he's able to Icy Wind me, completely slow me down. I'm kind of in a bad spot. And like everything that's going wrong is going wrong. And here I go into Sandy Shocks. I'm desperately trying to get rocks up. He Psychics me, and unfortunately this is where I basically lose the game, right? I throw out Stealth Rocks. Unfortunately, he brings out Cloister. It was Sash, so he makes a pretty good call here. And the only thing I could do here, so I T-Bolt, is hope to God that I could get a Paralysis proc on him. I'm basically banking on a 10% chance to actually be able to paralyze him. But the problem is, even if I do that, my team can't really handle Hawlucha, Oricorio, and Haxorus all at once, which makes things extremely awkward for me. And here, like, I'm basically toast. I tried to Terra Steel to salvage the game, but unfortunately he completely reads me here and liquidates me, and I just get completely stomped here. The crit doesn't matter because I'm probably dead anyways. A Dragon goes down. The Azumarill, I'm hoping he misses Rock Blast, and that also doesn't happen, and I basically go down swinging. I'm basically just trying to salvage this game at this point. And I realize that I can't do anything anymore. He goes in DD, and I'm slower than in DD most likely, and I go down. That was a pretty anticlimactic game 3. I think I really shot myself in the foot here with my team choice going into game 3. I think if I had stuck to my game 2 team, it might have gone a little better, but I can't say for sure. Given that I still had like given that the other team I had brought, I still had Scarf Staraptor and all that. But well played to him. I basically didn't. Honestly, I definitely should have prepped this much better than, or at least put more effort into prepping, because I was kind of in a bit of a scramble. But he played pretty well, and well played to him. Yeah, so I basically finished top 8 in this tournament, which is not bad for me. As for what I'm probably gonna cover next, I don't really know. I'm probably gonna cover maybe my sets that's going on at the Druvitational, which is a UU Cash Tour, and so I might do some commentary on my games there on that ongoing tournament. And there's also UU Masters, which is like UU's equivalent of seasonal, I think. But yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys next time.